Bill here with 30-Minute Woodshop. Thanks for joining. Today we're making this super kid-friendly butterfly house. Kids love making these things. They love hammering nails in. It only takes a few nails to put it together. They love painting things, especially in bright colors like this. These are great for Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, and Girl Scouts. If you have local troops in the area, get them involved. Great time to talk to kids about the environment and ecology, and also gardening. These look really good in your flower beds, and they'll bring in tons of butterflies. As a matter of fact, the kids assure me that with this color pattern, we'll have millions of butterflies this summer. So, it's an excellent project if you're doing something on Etsy. So this is a great Etsy project. It only takes 2 cedar fence boards, so it's pretty cheap as far as materials. These things go from $35 to $75 on Etsy. Great thing as a local artist. So on that note, let's start making. Well, for this project, you don't need much in the way of material. A couple of 6-foot, 5/8 inch thick, 5¼ inch wide cedar fence boards work perfectly for this. You need 2 of those. Beyond that, you need the usual kinds of things. You need a saw, a hammer and nails. You're going to need 6-penny nails to put this together, especially if you're going with kids. Kids love hammering, so the 6-penny nails work out really well for them. They're easy to strike and not too long. They can get it done pretty good. You're going to need things like paint. So butterflies are attracted to bright colors. So you need yellow, blue, red, very vibrant, bright colors. Make sure it's low VOC, non-toxic kinds of paints. You could use indoor paints because this is going to, even though it's sitting outside, my recommendation is you pull this in every year, clean it out. You're going to need a piece of 6-foot long conduit, 3/4 inch conduit, and that's what's going to hold this thing up. There's provisions inside. Once it's done, you slide it right over top of the piece of conduit, drop a screw or 2 into it, and it'll stay there all season. Top it back out by removing 2 screws. Take it in, clean it out, and if you want to repaint it, go ahead. So let's get on to cutting. Laying out, marking, cutting for this project is pretty easy. Most of you probably already know that I'm a fond proponent of these types of projects of cutting everything out at once. A lot of people don't recommend that because of the quality of the lumber they're getting. In this case, I already know what's here. It's a rough project, not like I'm doing fine furniture, so if there's a few gaps here and there, the butterflies don't care. Also, I don't personally use a lot of drawings. You might need one. If you do, you can go down to the bottom, link to my blog, and get a copy of the plans. Easy to follow, very simple, gives you a parts list. I'm going to mark and cut these things out all at once, piece after piece. Makes my job a lot easier. I'm not too worried about the fit. So let's get over to the saw. I don't normally advocate chain marking, where I mark this piece and then mark this piece. But in this case, I've already taken into account the ancient thickness of the blade, so I should be good to go. I'm going to cut these pieces simultaneously, so this is going to be the front and back. These 2 pieces are going to be the sides. After that, I only have to cut the top, 2 pieces for the roof, and the 1 piece for the bottom, and then size those pieces. So let's get started cutting. First thing I want to do is cut the width of the sideboards to 3 7/8. So I set my fence up at 3 7/8. Set my depth, so I just have 3 teeth showing. Grab my push stick, and we'll slice through these. Now I want to mark the tops for a set of 45s. To do that, I'm going to come across, find my center point, which is at 2 3/4. Using my squares to mark those off. The reason I mark them is simply that way I know where I'm cutting. I can see if I'm making a mistake. So I have my Osborne adjustable fence fence set up in a 45. One of the reasons I've done it this way is because it'll push the board out rather than drawing it in toward the blade. So if I ran this the other way, it would tend to draw it into the blade. This way, it'll kick out if anything happens, and I'm kind of protected. Keep that in mind. So let's get started. It always pays to check your work. I don't know if you can see that, but with the Osborne, we're dead nuts. I have my saw set at a 45. I've used a Wexy digital angle meter to do that. Highly recommend if you guys have a table saw, get a Wexy or something similar to it. It'll save you tons of time and improve your projects dramatically. Okay, I've got these laid out. As you can see, they're laid out in white pencil. White pencil, absolutely got to have a couple white pencils sitting in your toolbox. Anytime you're working with dark wood, best thing you could do is use a white pencil. I do a lot of work in walnut, so absolutely critical. Even in this stuff, pretty sure you can't see the pencil marks on this side. So white pencil, anytime you're working with dark wood. Now what to do is route them out. I'm using a router. You could use jigsaw. I have a 3/8 bit in here and a fence. I'll set the fence to the appropriate depth across here and start routing these things out. So be sure your piece is secured. And before you start your power tools, make sure you're wearing safety glasses and hearing protection and any other PPP you feel is needed. Okay, we're ready to assemble. One thing I didn't show you is I drilled holes in the block, stop block, and the bottom. This is supposed to have a stopped hole. I went all the way through, so I'll just glue a piece on top just in case you do that. Make sure when you're assembling that, you have these two pieces oriented so the holes line up. And I have my front, my two sides that are beveled on top, my back, and my right and left roof that are also beveled. So let's get busy assembling. We're going to start by assembling one side. Be sure you don't glue in the second side. This is the one we're going to hinge and allow it to open so we can clean it out once a year. Easy thing to do. I'm using glue. You don't have to. Matter of fact, if you're doing this with your kids, I'd suggest you just give them some 6-penny nails and let them nail it together. 6-penny nails will last the lifetime of this. I just happen to like to use glue. Pretty simple to do. Same thing here. The hole goes toward the back. Once I get it glued up, I'll put in some nails just to pin it closed. Now, this piece goes in at about 7 inches. Be sure that this lines up with the hole. So it's pretty straightforward. Next thing I want to do is put on the top. Make sure your pieces are lined lined up. Quite frankly, folks, don't worry if the wood's a little cupped and messed up. The butterflies don't care. That nails in the block on the inside. And there we go. Holes are lined up. Next thing I want to do, I'm going to put this side in. I have a couple of nails that I can use to just pin it, and they'll act as a hinge. And there we have it, folks. Open the side, clean it up, drop it on top of a 3/4 inch metal conduit, drive that into the ground, put it on. We do have to paint this thing. So we'll come back and throw some paint on it. Like I said, this is a great opportunity to get the kids involved. If they weren't nailing it, they would love to paint it. So I'm probably going to paint this in, say, yellow and maybe some reds. Try and attract some butterflies to it. Okay? Back in a bit with some paint. So we got it painted up. I chose 3 different colors: a bright yellow, a barn red, and a turquoise. Bought them in these small containers. They're sample containers from a big box store. And the kids assure me that this pattern will bring in millions of butterflies this summer. So we'll have to see. But it's an excellent garden project. So we'll put this in the flower garden, and over the summer we'll be able to enjoy it in the afternoons as butterflies come in. And we can teach the kids about ecology and those types of things. As I said, the perfect project to get kids involved. They love nailing, they love painting, great stuff like that. If you're on Etsy, this is a great project for Etsy. It only costs about $6, $7 to make. You can sell them anywhere from 35 to 50, even 75 bucks painted. So great project. You can make these into kits. Go to your local nature center and sell them to the nature center for $10, $20 a piece, and they can turn around and sell them, make money on them. Great project all around. So I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did. And if you did, please hit like and subscribe. Below, there's a number of links specifically to the plans for this thing, and also to a number of the tools that I use, and those types of things. Feel free to click those. They are affiliate links. All right. I do get some small commission, about 3%, that comes directly out of Amazon's pocket, which I like. support this channel. So with that note, folks, until next time,